if Jinro's going to throw something in rather than Elfi, though. That is going to be an interesting question. Or will he just go ahead and try to go one barracks command center again and just try to defend against anything from Elfi?
Jinro can win a macro game. I think he's just proven that without a shadow of a doubt. So I can't imagine Jinro's going to go for anything aggressive here. But you never know. He has been in Korea for a long time, and if there's one thing that they do tend to teach you, it's that you win by any means necessary, and sometimes that involves throwing a curveball at your opponent, as he discovered in Game 1 versus Elfi.
And Elfi, what is Elfi going to do? Send out a pretty early probe scout. He definitely wants to get into the main base here. He doesn't want a supply depot to wall him out, so he doesn't know what it is. Is it gas? Is it not? So he really does want to read into this game, and just seeing that alone, that almost feels that Elfi could potentially do something here, but it looks like Jinro could wall off, or he's just going to go scout. No, so Elfi does want to go, because he wants to know himself, is there gas? You know, if there's no gas, does Elfi decide to go for a blink play? Does he decide to go 3-gate pressure? Or if he sees a refinery, you know, does he defend? So this is a very key scout here early on in game number 3.
Yep, and he gets in without too much of a problem. He's going to be chased around by that SCV just for a while. Jinro loses just a little bit of mining time, but he does want that probe out, if at all possible. And he will happily pull it out. I like what he does there. He nicely slides and transitions between SCVs just to continue building and to keep that probe as far away from the base as possible.
And we have seen quite a few chrono boosts into the Nexus so far from Elfi, but he is banking up some now, as he wants to be able to chrono boost that Stalker out once again to deny Jinro the opportunity and really lower that time when Jinro can scout. And the third pylon is in the cloud area here, and Jinro no doubt will be looking for that third pylon, knowing is it outside the base, is it inside the base, and potentially building a story of what Elfi has. And there is the chrono boost onto the Stalker, and there's the one barracks expansion here from Jinro.
Yep, nothing out of the ordinary there. I don't think anyone really expected Jinro to cheese at this stage. That doesn't seem like him at all. But we could be in for a longer game. Double gas taken from Jinro at the same time right there, just after the expansion.
Yeah, and so it looks like we're going to have this one gateway expansion from Elfi, but the SCV, even if it gets hit by the Stalker, will be able to run in and scout it anyway. And that's what's going to happen here if Jinro does pay attention. He should, okay.
Nah.
Well, that's pretty bad for Jinro. He should have, immediately as that's hit, you turn around and you scout because you know it's going to die. And now he's pretty much blind, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. But as you say, double gas has been thrown down here by Jinro, so he's teching up incredibly fast this game around. And he could do a variety of things here. And first of all, he sends out a second SCV scout because he knew that that was a pretty big mistake by Jinro not to get that information. So he's going to try and get it again a second time around. But from here on out, Jinro could throw down a factory and go straight into Cloak Banshees at a weird timing for Elfi. He could easily go for very early medivacs, but the problem is he can't and doesn't have the units available for the medivacs to become interesting. So we'll see how Jinro likes to play this out, but that SCV, a very crucial SCV that does finally get that scout.
Yeah, it sees it. He knows what he's up against right now, and that's okay, because at least he knows he's not going to be the one on the defensive quite yet. A one-gate robotics for Elfi, which is going to prove to be quite nice, but that's the cancel, interestingly enough. That was scouted and then cancelled. So never mind, he may have tried to apply the pressure. He's got to put down 2 more gateways.
Yeah, I mean, Jinro goes in, he's like, oh, you got one gate robo? Oh, okay, cool. But then Elfi's like, ah, crap, never mind. All right, throw down 2 more gateways and then try something else. And what we're seeing here, look at that. Looks like the Banshee is going to come out here for Jinro as he throws down the factory straight with that tech lab. He has an early third gas. The problem with this style is he doesn't have any defense. You know, he does nothing. He has 4 Marines and is making, well, actually 6 now, but if anything came from Elfi, Jinro could be in a lot of trouble here. But Jinro's taking that risk to tech up, and there is another gateway being thrown down. And unfortunately for Jinro, he scouted that the robotics facility was there. Therefore, going cloak doesn't make that much sense because the observer should be coming in Jinro's eye. So I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, I really hope he does anyway. I mean, the thing is, he's consistently mining from 3 refineries even, and putting down a tech lab there as well. So I hope he still does go for cloak, and he does, which I like that. I like that a lot. It is a bit of a guess, admittedly, because he didn't know that it was cancelled, but I like that he's gone for cloak. That's going to give him an edge. What I'd like to see from Jinro is at least the second bunker come down. Because
yeah, I mean, he's in a lot of trouble right now, especially because Elfi's pushing across with 4 gateways. He's chrono boosting into the gateways. He's going to go for a bit of a push. and the force fields will wrap around that bunker so easily, and Jinro's in a bit of trouble.
He's putting a supply depot down, not a second bunker. I really don't like that. We've got the siege tech coming up, but it's nowhere near from completion. If Elfi actually goes now, he could deal significant damage, and this little gambit by Jinro is not going to look too good at all. He's already pulled out of the bunker, and wow, I think he just misrallied that. This is fairly horrendous. He might actually end up having to sacrifice his natural here.
Can't lose the tank,
He keeps the tank alive. Thankfully, the Banshee is now in play. Cloak is not ready yet. Cloak's going to get cancelled. That's very nicely done there by Elfi. Very nice.
I'm wondering if this is a little bit of an overreaction here from Jinro, because he's lifting up, but he should have enough to defend this, but he's lost a lot here, and even if this is just a 4-gate little pressure here from Elfi.
Yeah, it is. It's nowhere near all in or anything like that. Oh no, siege tech! Repair it! He must repair it! Oh, it finishes! Oh, that was close. Good lord. But yeah, siege tech is done, and Jinro now driving that way. He needs to get that Banshee out of there before it takes another round, and he is not able to do so. So another loss in that respect. Jinro's army is all over the place. He's taken a lot of damage, and Elfi, I think, just realized that, wow, I've done so much here.
So much, being 22 workers. That's so much. Down to 17 workers now, Jinro, and I really want to go through this, and I'll explain it after, but it looks like now Elfi still pressuring through. Jinro will be able to hold, and that's when I'll start to explain things, but he's in such a good position now, that is Elfi, but let me go into a little bit more depth with what really went on there. Let's go back to what Jinro scouted, the robotics facility, which means that there's not going to be gateway pressure. Why does he need a second bunker? Why should he be scared about anything? And then all of a sudden the cancellation comes in, more gateways are thrown down, and that was the thing that threw Jinro off there, not understanding what really was coming and where Elfi succeeded in that little push.
That is exactly right, without question. And it's so unfortunate that Elfi struck at that particular time, because the cancellation of the Robo could have meant that Jinro would have done untold amounts of damage with that Cloak Banshee. As it turns out, though, it was something of an anti-timing, and Jinro is now playing on the back foot. 24 workers versus 49. 23 workers killed. Even the amount of resources he's lost is about equal to Elfi, but Elfi's got way more resources to play with.
And the Cloak is being researched once again. Another Banshee's coming. Double Forge thrown down for Elfi. And it looks like now that Jinro is establishing that third base up, he can still come back into this game. Mules are very good, by the way. And this Banshee, as long as this starts to do damage on this left side and finds probes to kill, along with the Banshee and that third orbital command, Jinro could find himself back in this game faster than you think.
He could, but we'll have to see. There's already 2 observers on the field, and he may even decide to build a third just to deal with the threat of Cloak. And Jinro cloaks immediately. There is no observer in the area, so he's going to get at least a couple of kills from this without too much of a problem.
The observer's coming from the main. It's about lights out for that Banshee. It gets how many kills before it's about to die?
Yeah, this is an awkward spot to be. You don't want to be here, and down the Banshee goes. 6 kills, not too bad. He does have another one, and he's just continuing to build Banshees and start to pick away at the economy of his opponent. This is probably the best thing he can do right now, honestly.
Yeah, there is an observer right in the main base of Jinro from Elfi, and another Banshee's there, by the way, so it is going to be doing a bit more damage. And this movement by Jinro here can be game-changing. He's picked off 4, so that's a total of 10 probe kills just for the loss of a single Banshee, and as you can see by the supply count, it's starting to catch back up now. So Jinro by no means out of this game. He is suffering in his upgrades though, because he's deciding to build units because he knows he's behind rather than upgrade them. So as the game goes on, he will have to concentrate on that. Yeah,
he's trying to get his infrastructure back up. He's going to be on 4 barracks quite soon and getting things rolling there. Actually building a Raven as well, an interesting decision there. The 2 Banshees of Jinro are just continuing to move into harassment positions. Nothing to stop him doing a bit of damage here if he can take the photon cannon out in time, but there are Stalkers now moving in, so maybe he can dip in there, get a couple of pro kills. In fact, he could wipe that line out entirely and then just leave.
And in the main base as well, Totobisky's getting the pro kills. He's going to lose the Banshee in the main.
Oh, never mind, he gets out. Very nice, and 6 kills on that. So this Banshee harassment is starting to take its toll. He's catching up, but oh man, he's up against 3 Nexus with Chrono Boost. That makes things so difficult.
Jinro's killed a total of 15 probes throughout this Banshee harassment. He is catching back up, and I really do like his army composition here. You know, these Banshees are harassing, he's going for Tank, Marine, and Ghosts. This is pretty cool for Jinro, and he's going to be able to do a big amount of damage. And the Banshee again in the main, on the natural. The main one escapes. The one on the natural still climbing and kills up to 9. Does he get the 10th one? He doesn't, as he does back out in time, but really, really good play from Jinro.
Stretch his multitasking. How many times has it been said? And that's exactly what Jinro's doing with these double-pronged harassment attempts. And he is back in it, without question. His work count is caught up. He's got that 3rd orbital command, which means mules are plenty. And he is getting back into this game in a good, solid way. And as he said, what a great army composition against what his opponent currently has.
And the key for Jinro, I mean, the pressure he's creating is even forced Elfi to get supply blocked here at 118, so very, very good pressure and play here by Jinro. He needs to take that 3rd base now and establishing it with bunkers, knowing that a push could come from this, considering the army supply is a little bit in favor of Elfi right now. But at the same time, Elfi, as long as he does defend these bases, a simple cannon in each mineral line, maybe leave a high Templar also, or just a single Stalker and cannon is fine also to defend them. He could look out to push now, as he does have that upgraded advantage. He's throwing down 3 more gateways. Jinro, though, has to land the EMPs. If he lands the EMPs, tanks will make short work of every single unit Elfi has.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. And of course, he needs to land the EMPs to prevent these High Templar from ripping his army into pieces.
Yeah.
He converts a few of them over to Archons, which I'm not sure if I totally like that, but it will tank quite a lot of damage at the front there. Maybe more Storms would have made more sense, but I guess we're about to find out.
There's like 10 Storms available here, Tall Biscuit. There's a lot of Storms.
All right, well, let's see how much damage he can do. And the bunker is going to go down very, very rapidly. Jinro actually sitting in the middle of a storm and taking a lot of damage from that. Point defense drone loses its energy in about 2 seconds flat, and his army's just been scattered. Elfi's just smashed his way through the center with that.
But he loses a lot of units up that ramp, but he reinforces with the units he's lost. Jinro can't lose the SCVs on this 3rd base.
He's not going to have a choice. He's not getting out of there alive. No chance. And Jinro takes a real amount of punishment from that one. It was a very good push, and Jinro took a lot of storm damage.
And at the same time, though, Jinro's back to the natural with the Banshee. Up to 13 kills now, doing equal amounts of damage in terms of SCVs killed. So Jinro's now going to try and re-expand to that location, but it's even more dangerous because he has a lot less than he had before, and this is a little bit scary.
Yeah, Jinro using that just to try and pick off a sentry. Doesn't quite get it. Guardian Shield goes up, and there you go. He's managed to nail that one down, but that was a really nasty engagement for Jinro, really good engagement for Elfi, and that's what the resources are like. It's still equal, but once again, it doesn't matter. Elfi had the resource advantage going into that anyway.
And remember, guys, this is game 3 between Jinro and Elfi. 1 win is going to basically push Jinro towards advancing or could knock Elfi out the tournament. This is their game 2. Elfi losing his first and Jinro winning the first. So this is a very, very important tense game. The Banshee is back again. And that cannon trying to go up does get cancelled. And a few more kills down to that Banshee. And Jinro, again, trying to get that 3rd base up.
Yeah, he's struggling. He really is. And I would certainly like to see the more solid defense, maybe a couple more tanks up deployed on that high ground, just to at least do a lot of damage to that large amount of zealots that are coming in. I mean, there are 20. It's an ideal situation, especially, as you've said, in combination with EMP. Jinro's army is quite a bit smaller than his opponent, although not as much, once again, as you might expect, because that supply is being taken up by workers. Problem is, of course, what Elfi can replenish, Jinro can't.
And Jinro lands an amazing scan in the main there, sees both the robotics facilities, sees the robotics bay. Even though he had started the Viking production, he was only at 1, so it's a very nice reaction time there for Jinro. And he is going to sit on this base. The problem is the factory's been destroyed. It was in that fight there, so he actually can't build another starport. And the fact, no, actually it is up the top, sorry. So the factory's there, but it's not being able to use to build tanks at all. So Jinro is sitting on that 1 single tank on the high ground in his main base. The Ghosts have to land killer EMPs, and the Vikings are coming out, but Elfi is postured up for another attack while taking the center base. His upgrades are at 2-2, Jinro at 2-1, and about 60 seconds away from that +2 armor.
Yeah, and you could definitely use that right about now. Personal cloaking for Ghosts coming in. That might help just a little bit. Elfi, just a little bit supply block, but he's always maxed out anyway, so it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference for him. And oh my, here he goes, using the factory at least to create a bit of a chokehold, but this is going to be messy. Jinro's going to take a lot of damage to his economy here.
Really good EMP though. So that basically pushes Elfi back. Elfi doesn't want to go in there. No, he does. Trust me, he wants to go in there.
But he can't, not with that EMP.
With that EMP,
great.
everything is vulnerable. And if he loses everything there and just dies to a counterattack, that's his tournament life over. Elfi not taking any gambles. He's like, all right, I could have gone in there, I could have come back too. You know, I'm just gonna sit here and make you come to me. I'm taking a 4th base. I am also gonna be able to ramp up the production, adding 3 more gateways down. I'm hiring upgrades than you, Jinro. Come and get me. As Jinro's main base is mined out, his natural soon to be. Jinro has to move out soon for a 4th base. Otherwise, he'll be starved, and Elfi, with a smart decision not to engage and to sit back and wait for Jinro to come.
Yeah, why? You know, why would you even want to? Continue to build up your infrastructure, add more gateways, because you know you're going to eventually lose units. Cloak Banshee harassment from Jinro once again, which I am loving, but it's like trying to hold back the tide with a tiny wooden spoon. It's just not going to happen. There's 74 probes, and he can get so many more out. 9 more gateways being added on, plus 3 about to get started for Elfi as well. It's unpleasant, it really is. Jinro's just sitting there trying to max his army out, and then he needs to take a really good engagement, and it's got to be really good because Elfi is banking money.
He's thrown down like he's at, I don't know, it's like 24 gateways, 25 gateways now in this game.
Yeah, it is actually 25 gates.
And if you look at his minerals, he's at 1,700. 1 fight loss, click 25 zealots straight in. So that's an incredible production line that Elfi has, and he knows that he has the money to do it too. And another Banshee towards another base of Elfi over here on the left-hand side, doing even more damage, picking up an extra kill or 2. But here is Jinro's move out. And Elfi's ready. He's got cannons, he's got Storm, he's spread, well, he's not that spread out, but he can be. This is not so good for Jinro.
Yeah, only a single tank to really provide firepower support here, which I'm not really liking. Those EMPs were very nice, though, and they actually drive Elfi all the way back. Jinro really doesn't take a lot of damage in that engagement. Slow but steady maybe wins the race, and once again a nuke is coming into play, knowing that if he lands that lucky nuke then he wins. But here comes the flanking attack, a lot of the firepower focused in the wrong place, and here it goes. Elfi looking to try and get a really good concave. Those EMPs are absolutely huge, and he needs to get a really solid engagement there, but the storms are preventing him from doing so. He's driven back, he's got to get that firepower in, and massive storm rips through Jinro's army.
That was an amazing storm, and Elfi's 25 zealots are coming in, everybody. And all of a sudden, Jinro's production thrown up. He has 39, 60 minerals. He's in an awful world of trouble. And
That's
Elfi
it.
calls
GG.
it.